But
Sorry.
the person, it's okay. The person who would be hired would be looking at all of the different 8 can't wait kind of proposals and going through what is already happening and what has been asked for. And the council did, or the mayor did acknowledge, yeah, I think we need to do a better at communicating what is being done behind the scenes, because I think they answered a lot of questions and acknowledged a lot of movement forward that I wasn't aware of. So
interesting.
my experience.
So things that you weren't aware of that the police have already done?
No, that the city is doing moving forward with these.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
I
Kathy was
got
gonna
a
say
different take from the meeting than that. And the two big takeaways I got is that the consultant will be doing an audit
Okay.
of police policies, and that the city is ready to consider an oversight board, and we'll be looking into that, the different, there are different kinds. So those, to me, those are both hurrahs, but did I hear them wrong? Because Paolo,
I didn't hear the oversight committee at all.
yeah,
I didn't hear that part. Yeah, in the looking at the 8 can't wait, that's the auditing of what the, so I misspoke on that. That's them going in and auditing basically what program or what stuff do they have in place.
yes, because it's my understanding that the state legislature's newer laws address all of the 8 can't wait. And so even before I came a year ago, and more than a year ago, police were saying, yeah, we don't need to do that because the state is making us do it. So that's already addressed. And that's my takeaway. So I just feel elated. I felt if nothing else would be done, the audit brings things to light and is immensely important. And after that, I think they're calling it a review board instead of an oversight board. That's great, but I thought the audit should come first, so
Yeah,
that whatever review board comes about, I mean, it'll be more clear what kind of a review board is needed and so on. But the audit is just phenomenal, I think.
Thank you both for giving me that recap. So then I would ask you all, the art project was a way of doing inquiry with the community, right? So that's the foundational thought behind it. So you could literally use it for any inquiry that you wanted to do. That's why we had her build it the way we did. So, I guess my question would be, do you want to continue to look at community safety? Do you think that's a priority? And I guess this is the other piece. There'll be a lot of new folks that will be joining you all in January who will probably have some vision for what it is they want to do. So what would you like to do around the policing and community safety pieces? And then how are you going to leave space for folks to share what they're passionate about and what they're thinking might be areas of focus?
Yeah, I think everything should be put on hold until we gather and figure out what priorities are going to be happening. And then we can use it. I sent a bunch of ideas for the council in general about what they need to do. for outreach to the community. And it's basically what Kathy and I think maybe Dory, you were part of it. But anyhow, there's a lot to be desired in their outreach to underserved communities, like going to the grocery stores and then putting out a table and asking questions. But anyhow, that's how I see it, is wait till the new folks are on board. Do you have the names of the folks on board?
I do. Yeah, I have a roster that hasn't been created yet, but it'll be there.
That's good. That's good. There was someone who was on DAB who wanted to transfer over. Did that happen?
Raman, I think.
Yes, Raman.
I don't believe Raman transferred over. No, I think he's still with DAB.
Okay.
So just for okay, go ahead, Kathy.
Can I don't want to interrupt you, but when you're done, I want to continue answering Dory's question.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, but do you need to say something, Paolo?
Oh, sure. I just want to share that for context, I did meet with Sabdi and Joy yesterday. And so we did incorporate in the next agenda kind of a recap of general HVAC history and also just the previous year, so the year we're in right now. And so that would be a good time to also talk about the art project. And we're not sure if this is actually going to be a possibility yet, but they both would like to do a retreat similar to how we did it many moons ago. But of course, with this new variant, we don't know if that's actually going to be something that's possible, but we're exploring. Regardless, whether we have a retreat or we incorporate retreat logistics into the regular meetings, there's definitely going to be a brainstorming session in there and what to work on. And I think that those would also be great opportunities to talk about previous year's work. And hey, do you want to continue this? Is this the priority still? Kind of like what Dory was saying. So there's definitely be lots of opportunity for y'all to gauge interest and promote this work if you'd like.
Okay. And I would like to say that one of the wonderful benefits of what we've done so far is that we heard from police some things that they are needing. So there is a collaboration here that has started. And some things that they are needing is for them to do less of community service, really. And that actually fits in so much with us wanting the police to do less also. It's really a win-win. And in order for that to come about, the way that I saw it, and we talked about this, Tanya, with the police, is gathering more information, and the police, especially, Alan said homeless people, but we can always consult with them and make sure we're getting populations represented that they especially want to hear from, and that they want to hear from not just us, is so important. And then present the art data, then present it, including have this walkthrough like we did at the police station with other city entities, so that as we're discussing and looking at it together, I'm guessing other entities will come up with ideas on how to serve the public in particular ways without the police needing to do it. And, you know, we're never quite sure what solutions will come up, but I'm sure that there will be some. And so that's why I'd like to not put it on hold. And I'd like to get Alan and the chief involved, at least to the extent where they let us know who else would they like to be hearing from, and make it more complete, and then go for it. That's, I think it has become a possibility of being really important tool.
I'm gonna jump out there with, we have 3 weeks left of the new year, or of this year, or 2 weeks, 3.
Mhm.
And then we are right into our first meeting. And right now, my bandwidth is about this to do that kind of work. This job is really a steep learning curve. So, and I really, Kathy, I like the idea. It's just, I'm not sure that, well, that for us to go out and gather more information from folks, it's just a busy time of year, and I just don't know if we can do that, or that it would achieve
Right.
what we need. And because I think if we're ever going to present, we can't just come in there with 47 people's ideas. That just is not, to me, that's like asking for time for 47 voices in a city of 100,000. That's taking time from the city council.
Right.
So,
And so we had talked about this, Tanya, and you told me then that you would have to back out from the outreach.
mhm.
And you gave some suggestions. You know, it only takes really 3 people is better than 2 people to man the art to get surveys. And so I was actually envisioning that perhaps we could make some decisions about outreach, some preliminary decisions today.
Mhm.
And then, because we had talked about getting, is her name Monica?
Monica Australia with the dab.
Yeah,
Mhm, mhm.
asking Bob if anybody there who speaks another language might be willing to go to 1 or 2 of these survey collectings, because she came to when we went to the Spanish grocery store, Latinx grocery store, she came, and she was a godsend there for us.
Mhm.
And so if we could, I was really hoping that today we could kind of agree to continue the outreach and all do a little footwork and phone work, because it really, things are set up. It really doesn't take very much. And that's what I was hoping for today. I thought Sabdi would be here too, but you know, Spencer, there are other HRAC folks who helped collect survey information, and we can ask for that again. And then our small group keep talking helping to make decisions about it. You know, Lisa can't come to every meeting either. So that's what I was hoping, that we not put it on hold, but we very slowly make some plans.
Do you have places identified where you'd like to go if you had volunteers with you?
No, I'd like to talk with somebody at the homeless shelter, which is right across the street from the library, or somebody who works with the homeless community. I'd like to talk, and I'd like to get people with disabilities. And especially a few people who identify as mentally ill. And so, and I'd like to get, we got Chinese Americans, but not many other Asians. And we have a big South Asian community, South Asian being India, Pakistan, Bangladesh.
You know,
And I don't think, you know, this is perhaps not an ethnicity, but I think we should get some Muslim folks.
so I
And,
have some ideas around how to do that outreach.
oh, good.
Is
Okay.
is that okay to jump in?
Yeah. Oh, but let me say one more thing. We need more white people too, to make our survey more representative of the population in Beaverton. Okay.
So I would say the outreach that would need to happen is to DAB and asking them where they would see civic areas that
Yeah.
we could go to. There is the, let's see, who else would have ideas? Hassan would. And, you know, all the grocery stores, those are places, but I think DAB to go to them and say, okay, can you give us a list? And who would be willing to help us?
Right.
Let me see. And this is just a sidetrack. Is your family okay, Paul? Because there was that tsunami or that storm in the Philippines.
Yeah, thank you for asking. My immediate family, they're doing okay.
Okay.
Because we're fortunate enough to a lot of them be actually in higher elevation places. So,
Oh, good.
but I actually haven't heard from a lot of folks too, so I'm not actually sure. But as far as I know, my immediate family's doing okay.
Okay.
Is it cool if I jump in, or was there anything else, Tanya,
Yeah.
Kathy, or Dory? Okay.
No, go right ahead.
So as far as reaching out to DAB, I think one, Monica might be the only person who's in tune with this, and so to me that sounds like it would have to be like an actual presentation to the commission, because a lot of things are lost through, you know, email.
Individuals, yeah.
The other thing too is I do hear both sides, and what the things that I do think it would be a big push to try to actually be in some physical events or locations that we could try to identify immediately. I mean, I could send over like the events list of some, like the tree lighting, you know, places like that you could go get stuff. And then we do have access to folks like the community services folks, Megan and Maria, they run the severe weather shelter, right, at the community center. So there are those opportunities. I just think that maybe one alternative could be if you can't find the folks who can coordinate and actually be at a physical location with the art project. I'm also like in and out, and I actually haven't been going to the office at all just because with a newborn here and her, you know, immune system. So the survey question, the card themselves, can be circulated. Now we do lose the value of the art project. We do lose the value of if there's somebody actually physically there to have conversations with people, which is huge. But I mean, if you're trying to, kind of grab maybe some low hanging fruit in the 2 weeks left, that might be an alternative that y'all could try to work with. It does feel like though, like this is something that could wait. That's just how I feel right now. I don't know. Ultimately, it's all up to y'all.
Yes, what a good idea to circulate the cards, because many people actually asked if they could do it on their computers at home. And how much of a possibility is that?
I think it's a definite possibility. There's physical cards that we could give to places. At least I could ask, right? Megan, would you mind putting these at the center? And you could announce it, you could not, if you have the time. Also, our website is a place we have a lot of freedom, right? So if we wanted to have like a description on the website of what this art project is, and then create space there for people to fill out an online form, we could do that. One thing I'll say though is like the ideas though of circulating like a mailer or like a physical flyer and having surveys up on our website is nothing new. And I would say in the past it's been mixed results whether you get people or not. But again, just trying to throw some low hanging fruit opportunities your way if you think that's something y'all would be interested in.
It would be great eventually for, oh, I'm sorry, Dory.
I think there's two questions that are coming to mind, and I'm just going to be a question poser because I don't think I, at this point, should be a decision maker. So as you two are thinking, oh my gosh, my family, they're all texting, sorry for all the dinging. I think the two questions that I would offer you are, why does a large sample size, why is a large sample size necessary, right? So when I think about sociology and metrics, it's something to consider maybe talking with someone who's a sociologist to just talk about, if you were to survey, for example, folks of color who have not been surveyed before, who have been marginalized and pushed to the edges, kind of see it as being very similar to curb cuts, right? So that idea of curb cuts went into cities and they were there to help people who were using wheelchairs to get around. And then everybody else benefited from it. So I would just, plant that seed of how could you potentially use some local sociologists to look at, survey validity is a really interesting concept, and where does that concept arise from, right? So that would be one thing. The other piece, and one of the designs in the project that was very intentional, it was intentionally designed for people to have interactions with other people, right? Rather than filling out a survey, because that's a strategy that the city has used quite a bit. Yes. There's a bit of survey exhaustion for people. So I would just challenge y'all to think, like, how could you do that in-person piece with the current state, with people, it seems, becoming more concerned about contact with each other and social distancing? What other tools could you use to still have that personal contact? I'm doing some work right now with some groups that are going to be affinity spaces within the city. And if I can't meet people in person, all I'm doing is setting up office hours to have people dial in on Zoom and meet with me. So it's just another, offering that as an alternative. And just that question of what other creative ways can you all think about?
Yeah, that's really a good point. And I so agree with you that people like to be listened to, not just fill out the cards, but to have somebody there who's interested. And I think that has been a benefit of the way we've gone about this. Yeah, and I'm not trained in sociology, but I am in psychology and have a lot of statistical stuff in my background. And just as it's important in medical research to include women and people from different neighborhoods and who've been treated differently, I think it's important not to make sure we get everybody, but to make sure we get samples from different groups and that nobody is omitted, or at least very few people being omitted, very few groups, because this represents the city. Yeah, so.
Can I throw one thing out there also? I totally agree. Yeah, when I mentioned with like the surveys, I didn't actually feel great about it because yeah, survey exhaustion totally is a real thing, and I do love how one of the ways that this project engages people is the human-to-human contact. I will say, while we have 2 to 3 weeks, on top of that, there's a lot of uncertainty with this new variant.
Right.
Yeah, a lot.
And I don't know that I would feel comfortable asking other HVAC commissioners to even do that. Right, especially as we're gonna, like, some people are wanting to travel, see family. We were supposed to go to California, now we can't. My family from Washington who wants to come meet my daughter can't come anymore. So it's just, I don't know. It feels like a tough ask at the moment, and it's in a place where people are really tired and maybe want to just be with the families that they can be with, chosen families they can be with, you know.
Yes. And so I don't envision us getting out there before the first of the year, not at all. What I'm hoping for is that we kind of put a plan into place. Who will be going to, how to get help with it. And then even if, I mean, we may not get out until February to do it. Or the virus may be so great that we have to come together and plan again how to get people safely. And that's okay. But I'm very uncomfortable with just leaving it the way it is right now.
Maybe
Because if we don't make plans, if we don't make plans, it may not happen.
Can a tentative plan be that somebody from your group or someone here do like a executive summary version of the data walk to the new commission to kind of have that up the ante as like a pitch to why it's important to continue this work? Because I mean, if the commission wants to move forward with it, then there will be a lot of human hands being able to push this work. There'll be a lot of folks who will then be able to go out there and help make and strengthen those plans, said plans. I don't know if I said that clearly, but in other words, let's have a solid pitch for this next year.
I think that's good, is to have a solid pitch, and the ideas that were shared today, if those can be, Kathy, if you'd be willing to maybe write down the ideas that or shared here, and that'll be part of the pitch.
Mhm. And is there anything you'd like me to bring to the police? Because I'm basically going to let them know what we talked about, which is one, in the first two questions are, we're going to maybe wait till next year's commission to really decide. And then, number three, we didn't spend the budget. But also gauging interest coming from, what I found every year is that people often want to attach themselves to work that might have momentum or support from either staff or leadership. And I could gauge what is the interest from BPD leadership as well. And which I think you already explained, Kathy, that there is quite a bit. And so with that added oomph, if you will, I could solicit what are those, the feedback from police too, to see if maybe Alan Jolfs could say a little something as well of like why he thinks this is important. I'd be hard pressed to think that no one would want to continue that work if that were the case. BPD is always an important topic in HRAC spaces, even outside of when the inquiry sessions and all the things happened in previous years.
Yeah.
So, okay, I will pose that question to them. On what would they like to do? What if they, ultimately it sits with HRAC, but if they were to support it, what could they do as well?
And I haven't thought of the police as separate from this committee.
Right.
That this committee is HRAC and police, even though they haven't come as much. So I'm hoping, I wonder if you'd feel comfortable if I emailed Alan, because if you ask them, it may sound like we're treating them as a separate entity, which of course they are in a way, but on this committee, it's equal. Yeah. And I just see Alan as, for some reason, not being here today. And so I would be happy to email and help him catch up and ask some questions that way. Is that okay with you?
I'm always okay with y'all and encouraging of y'all reaching out
Okay.
to other staff.
Tanya, what do
I don't know
you
how the
think?
others feel.
You see Alan. You're too busy to see him now, maybe.
You're mute.
Sorry. And I'm gonna have to cut out in about 10 minutes. Yeah, he and I have I think a good relationship. I think you have to, I think reaching out to him is good, and to just know that it's good to have a relationship, but sorry, I'm distracted right now.
You're at work.
Yeah, I am. I've got things popping up. So yeah, I'm pro reaching out to him, and yeah, just keeping them informed. And I'd also be curious how come he couldn't come, because I think it's really important for him to see the importance of it, even though he's invited. That he's wanted and welcomed. So anyhow, and actually, I do need to cut out. It turns out I thought I could get through this whole thing, but I'm
Okay.
not able.
Well, it looks like next steps are we're going to present to the commission next year in a pitch, and we could divvy out what that actually looks like more. And then it looks like Kathy's going to email Captain Jules Kathy, if you think it would help you, please feel free. You're always welcome to CC me, but of course, I'm not trying to butt in, do whatever you got to do.
Okay. And could I get Monica's contact?
Yeah, sure. I could share that with you. I think you two were already connected before, right? So it's not going to be a
No,
surprise to her.
Tanya is connected with her, but I
Okay.
was not. Yeah,
Well, out of respect, I will just let her know, and then I'll connect you.
okay. And Dory, do you have any final words of wisdom, reflections, comments?
I would just say, I'd say this: be creative, right? Don't let the standard things that you see limit you all. We have a super creative team of people that can look at things in different ways. And I see that you all are really trying to bring other folks into looking at community safety from within the city. And I think that creativity, that cross-pollination of different groups will be really helpful as the city moves forward. And they want to be innovative and creative in their work. So my thing is, I just thank everybody for all the work that everybody did on the art project, and continue to be creative.
You're the great initiator. Provocateur, maybe.
That's why I'm not even upset that Dory's not at the HREC, because I know I'm going to see Dory more throughout the city. We all win.
You're gonna get so tired of me, Paulo.
Hasn't happened yet, so.
Thank you, Dory. Thank you,
Thank you
Paula.
all. And Kathy, I'll keep a lookout for some of that stuff and let you know about Monica, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Okay.
Everybody have a great holiday.
Happy holidays, y'all.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.